India Global.
India Global. Hello and welcome. Join us as we travel to the Kingdom of Bahrain. Bahrain is a low-lying archipelago comprising a large island and 32 smaller islands located in the Gulf east of Saudi Arabia.
It has been continuously inhabited for some 5,000 years, and the ancient Dilmun civilization here was in control of trade between the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia.
92% of the land is desert, while just over 2% is arable.
Freshwater springs and date palm groves dot the landscape of some islands. The many islands and shallow seas are globally important nesting sites for migratory birds.
Bahrain was one of the earliest areas to convert to Islam. Arabic is the language spoken here.
Bahrain is a constitutional monarchy.
Manama, the capital of Bahrain, is home to several financial institutions.
India and Bahrain enjoy excellent bilateral relations characterized by cordial political, economic and cultural contacts.
Ancient Bahraini traders carried out flourishing trade of Bahraini pearls with spices from India.
When Bahrain was a British protectorate, the Indian rupee was legal tender in the country. Talking about bilateral ties, India's ambassador to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Dr. Mohan Kumar, says,
relations between India and Bahrain are lost in the mists of time and go as far back as Indus Valley civilization and the Dilmun civilization. Trade was the key link, with dates and pearls going from Bahrain and spices and textiles coming from India.
High-level exchange of visits on both sides have strengthened ties between India and Bahrain, bringing a robustness to the bilateral engagement, says Ambassador Dr. Mohan Kumar.
The last 3 years have seen an upward trajectory in bilateral relations. In February this year, His Majesty the King of Bahrain paid his first ever state visit to India, which has laid a solid foundation for relations in all spheres. In the first week of September, the Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, had a hugely successful visit to Bahrain, where she called on His Majesty the King, she met His Royal Highness the Prime Minister, and she had detailed discussions on bilateral relations with His Excellency the Foreign Minister of Bahrain.
And close relations in the modern era, after Bahrain attained independence in 1971 from Britain, are characterized by converging policy visions based on common principles of the non-aligned movement and the United Nations. Ambassador Dr. Mohan Kumar adds,
Bahrain is one of the friendliest countries for India in the region and is sensitive to India's concerns and interests. Besides, both countries enjoy wide convergence of views on a range of regional and global issues. The relationship between India and Bahrain therefore has a glorious past and a dynamic present, and indeed has a very bright future.
Bahraini traditional song.
For many centuries, Bahrain has been famous for its pearls, and before the discovery of oil, pearl diving was the main source of income. Qalat al-Bahrain, the harbour and capital of the ancient land of Dilmun, and the Bahrain Pearling Trail have been declared UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The centuries-old trade relations between India and Bahrain received fresh impetus from the oil boom of the early 70s. India's ambassador to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Dr. Mohan Kumar, says,
oil was first discovered in Bahrain, and that set off a wave of development in which Indians came over and partook. This intensified further, and today in the Kingdom of Bahrain there are about 350,000 Indians in a country whose total population is just 1.3 million and whose territory is a little over 780 square kilometers. Indians are liked, respected, and most of all trusted, making them the largest expatriate community in Bahrain.
Bahrain serves as the gateway to the Gulf Cooperation Council market because of its location. Bahrain's major economic activities are production of aluminium, Bahrain's second biggest export after oil, finance and construction. Bahrain's total trade with India was pegged at over $1,268 million in 2012-13. During a visit to Bahrain, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj addressed a diaspora engagement meet, an initiative to improve investment and catalyze trade between the two countries, organized by the Overseas Indian Facilitation Center. The meeting was a confluence of overseas Indians and business and industry leaders, which was also attended by Bahraini leaders. In her keynote address, the External Affairs Minister lauded the achievements of the diaspora, calling them the brand ambassadors of India.
I'm proud that the Indian community of 350,000 in size is the largest expatriate community in Bahrain. Today, there is hardly any established Bahraini business organization that does not have a senior or middle-level Indian employee playing an important role in its operations. Let me take this opportunity to commend you for working with the Indian government in your places of domicile and for your wholehearted support in our endeavors. The diaspora also, though integrated in the mainstream of nations they have settled in, have kept strong bonds with India. We believe that the overseas Indians are our brand ambassadors of India.
Bahrain's constitution guarantees religious freedom, and there are several churches including India-based ones, temples including a nearly 100-year-old one, and Sikh gurudwaras in the kingdom.
Bahrain is a successful footballing nation, having come within a match of qualifying for the FIFA World Cup.
The first woman from the Gulf region to become the President of the United Nations General Assembly was Haya bint Rashid Al Khalifa from Bahrain.
The Tree of Life, a 400-year-old mesquite tree in Bahrain, whose survival in an area completely free of water supply is a natural wonder.
Bahrain's World Trade Center is the first high-rise incorporating wind turbine in its design. Bahrain has galleries and museums. You could also indulge in water sports, bird watching and shopping.
But before we go, here's a question for you. Many of Bahrain's most prominent figures have close India connection. Can you name the Bahraini poet who grew up in Bombay?
Send in your answers to indiajourneys360@gmail.com.
The first 3 listeners sending in the correct answer will get a music CD from the EIR archives and a DVD from the Ministry of External Affairs. Don't forget to add your address and phone number when you mail us.
And here's the answer to a question last week in the program on India and UNESCO.
India had the rare honor of having 2 sites inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List this year. One a cultural site and the other a natural site.
The ancient 11th century stepwell Rani Ki Vav in Patan, Gujarat is the cultural site, and the Great Himalayan National Park in Kullu, Himachal Pradesh, home to rare flora and fauna, the natural site making it to the heritage list.
Congratulations! Fahad Raza from Malappuram in Kerala, Shikhar Gupta from Maigaganj Kheri in Uttar Pradesh, and Vanya Bhisht from Delhi for sending in the right answer.
Until next time then, goodbye.
And travel safe.